The moon takes around 27 days to make its way around the Earth, around the zodiac. It takes around 29 days to make its way back to its position with the sun, around a month, which is where the word month comes from, the moon. But within this constant rhythm, there are two moments that, if you tune into them, can completely transform the way that you and your clients manifest and release. In this short video, we're going to be looking at and exploring how you can harness the power of these natural tides. And tides is a great word because the moon controls the oceans of our Earth. It pulls billions of gallons of water twice daily. And because our bodies are also made up of a huge amount of water, it makes sense that the moon does have a natural connection with our bodies, and especially with the water in our bodies and our emotions. In astrology, the moon is considered a feminine, nurturing and caring energy. Think of how the moon watches over the Earth and protects it from meteorites, and you get a sense of this protective energy that the moon is associated with. And in the birth chart, the position of the moon can show us what we need on a deeper level to feel safe, to feel nurtured, to feel cared for. And that can be things that we look for in others, but it can also relate to how we look after ourselves. Self-care practices. The moon doesn't emit its own light, it reflects the light of the sun. And that also relates to its symbolism. The moon is said to represent our inner world, our often unconscious responses, behaviors, our moods, our emotions. So when we keep this symbolism in mind when we're working with the moon, then we are also tuning into that energy and really harnessing the power that these rhythms have. So the first phase we're going to be working with is the new moon energy, which you might be surprised about because a lot of people will talk about full moon energy. If you've ever been out to look for the new moon, then you might have realized that you can't actually see the new moon because it's when the position of the sun, the Earth and the moon means that the sun is shining on the other side of the moon that we can't see. And so the side that is facing the Earth is completely dark. It's also called a dark moon. As you might imagine with this image, this is more of a reflective time, an introspective time. And we can use the energy in this way. This is a great time for gathering ideas, for planting seeds, for really getting clear on your visions, maybe writing some affirmations. It's a planning and prepping stage, if you like. It doesn't mean that in this stage that you can't also take action. But for example, the other day I was planning to make a video and I really wanted to get on with it and start the filming and do the editing and blah, blah, blah. But when I started to film, it just didn't happen. I couldn't find the words, I wasn't in the right place. And then I realized that we were in this new moon energy. And it just really hit me because sometimes we don't always remember the rhythms and the particular phase that the moon is in. And I was like, oh, this is a really good opportunity to work with that energy. And so what I did is I got into a very light meditative state, taking a few deep breaths, a few of those heart breaths that we've been practicing. And I just started to brainstorm. I started to brainstorm some different ideas, some different points that I was going to maybe make in the video, and just kind of riffed with what was coming up in my mind. And it was really productive. I wrote like 2 or 3 sheets of ideas and things not just for that particular video, but also things that I can use in the future. So this is a really good energy for just kind of seeing what comes up and writing things down and working with ideas. And you might not use all of those ideas in the end, but this is a fun time to try things out, try out different affirmations, feel what seems to sit well with you. And especially if you're using some of these ideas that we talked about before, about self-care, about the body, about our emotions, habits, behaviors, maybe things that we want to change. Some nice affirmations that are related to this symbolism that you might want to work with. For example, I'm healthy, strong and flexible. I meet people who understand my needs. I'm ready to let go of the habits that are holding me back. A ninja trick for working with this new moon energy is to do your planning, do your brainstorming, get together these affirmations, these ideas, things that you want to work on for the month ahead or even for longer term, and actually start to use them a few days after the new moon. So 2 or 3 days after the new moon, then we'll start to see a tiny slither of light. And this means that there is some light that's going to help those seeds to grow. So that's just an extra tip that you can continue working with this new moon energy. It doesn't have to be exactly on the new moon. It can be a few days and up to a week after. The new moon energy is peaceful. It's full of potential and possibility. And so this would be a really good time, if it feels appropriate, to encourage your clients to maybe create a vision board. If you know that they're artistic, you might ask them to draw something or create something that is really representative of where they want to be. You might encourage them to work with some affirmations, or you might, if you've been working with them for a while, have your own ideas for affirmations that could be really powerful for them. This will be a great time for them to start working with those affirmations. Again, remembering to tap into this energy of the new moon, you're going to feel like things just naturally flow when you're doing something that's related to the energy of this new moon. And that's not to say that you can't do other things as well. Of course you can. But like my example, there's some resistance there. Things don't flow quite as easily. Now, the full moon energy is very different, as you can imagine. We have the sun shining fully on that side of the moon that is facing the earth, and it means that we can see this full disk of light in the sky. The full moon happens around 14 days after the new moon. And the energy of the full moon is loud, it's expressive, it's fun, it's full of energy. And that's why you'll often hear of like full moon parties, events happening on a full moon, because we have this bright light that we can use, that we can feel. This is when the moon's at its fullest and it's pulling on our emotions, and that's why we might also find we're extra emotional. My sister works in a school and she says that she's really noticed that when it's a full moon, the kids are super hyperactive, that she really notices a change in their energy. Because remember, children are more sensitive to these natural rhythms than we have become conditioned to be. So this is the time to move your body, to dance, to have fun, to run around, to play with the kids. It's a really light-hearted, energetic energy. This is a time to let go, be grateful. You might do some body work where you're just shaking things out and just thanking the universe for everything that you have and everything that you're letting go of. You could do a little ritual where you write down any emotions or habits or feelings that you really want to let go of, and so maybe you burn them just to kind of finalize that release of those emotions, those habits, those feelings that you no longer want. You can cleanse crystals on both moons, the full moon or the new moon. But with full moon energy, then you're really helping to release anything that they picked up over the last period of time since you last cleansed them. And you're really asking them to be recharged with this light of the moon. So again, it just depends on your intention. Are you wanting to infuse, if you like, with new intentions, like with the new moon energy, or are you just really wanting to kind of release and reset them with this full moon energy? With your clients, you might encourage them to do something fun. You might encourage them to really just let go a little bit, maybe dance or listen to some of their favorite music that gets them moving at home. In a session, you might discuss specifically their progress, their wins, really pointing things out so they really feel that gratefulness, that abundance that the light of the full moon can bring. Again, full moons can bring strong emotions, so this might be a good time to really work through those emotions with a client, help them to process things, help them to let go of those emotions that they've been holding on to inside. So you can see how different these energies are, and also why ancient cultures were so fascinated with moon energy and how they really lived by these natural cycles. So these are just a few really easy ways that you can start to tune into planetary energy. This isn't anything complicated. It's very easy to find out when the new moon and the full moon is, you can just Google it. They're very simple apps. I use one called the Moon app, I think it's called. It's not an astrology app. It just tells me the different phases of the moon, which is really useful. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you're enjoying these videos and that you're finding some use in them for both yourself and your clients. I really want you to notice the energy when you're working with your clients and how you really have the power to enhance and amplify the work that you're doing with these simple techniques and practices. I am now offering some mini astrology chart readings by voice message. I'll leave the information down below. And in these readings, I'm going to personally look at your birth chart, and I'm really going to give you some powerful insights that are going to help you to understand the energies that you were born to master. So if you're interested in that, then you can click on the link below, and please subscribe if you haven't already, or hit the like button so that other people like you will find this information and will be able to use it. Thank you so much.